video, I will attempt to, using only scripture alone, find out the identity of the first beast of Revelation. I think it's very, very clear in all sorts of passages that we're going to look at what the first beast is. So let's start looking at Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Okay, firstly, I'm going to draw a conclusion with 13:1 and 17 verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Now I think that people, so it's referring to the people of the world. In 17:15 here, that's what the water symbol. So the Bible's telling us there's a symbol being used. Water represents people. Okay, I think part of that is because the waters, when they rush and flow, sound like the roar of a crowd. I think there's some allusion to that in the Bible. But anyway, that's not the point here. So I think going back to 13:1, I think it's pretty clear that the Antichrist that's being described in 13, the mark of the beast, Antichrist, the second beast, is one that will obviously be in control of the whole world, except for those whose name is written down in the book of the life of the Lamb. So I don't see any reason not to make the conclusion here that 13 verse 1, the waters are referring to the people of the world. Now there's a lot of other people talking about the waters, like is it the Mediterranean Sea? They're taking it literally, which I like that. I mean, I hold also in taking scripture absolutely literally. But there are times when Jesus says, oh, now I'm speaking in a parable, now I'm speaking in a symbol. So I think that's what we have here because of 17:15. So let's conclude here in 13:1 that it's referring to the people are rising up out of the sea. So the beast, the first beast here, is rising up out of the sea, and it has 7 heads and 10 horns. So we can see that this first beast of Revelation, out of the 2, is made up of people. And it looks like the people of the world. So a whole lot of people. In other words, all people except those whose name is written down in the book of life of the Lamb. That's real clear here. So it's some kind of system or world system. So let's go to verse 2 now. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay, so it's just telling us right here what the beast is. Leopard, bear, lion. That's referred to in Daniel 7:7. We go through the 4 kingdoms. And the lion is, so the bear is Russia, obviously. The lion is actually the eagle and lion. And that's the, England and the United States, part of that aspect of the Illuminati system. We'll go over the leopard here in a second. But look at what this is. This is part of one body. One body. Okay, so the mouth of the lion and the feet of the bear are together. They're working together. Okay, now we all know this, that those who study the deep structure of political and economic reality, we know that there's the reality you're told about on TV, the visible reality, with all the politicians and the president and the elections and stuff, and you think it's all just happening by chance and by some people that are in control, like, the Trumps and the Bezos crowd and all that, Rockefellers and so forth. So, but we know from the Bible there's a different story of who's actually in charge. And if you look at a verse like Acts 4:26, we see that, in fact, all of these kings and leaders of the earth are and have been working together, apparently for quite a long time, because Acts 4:26 that's referring to the time of birth of Christ. So this let's call this the Illuminati system. The beast system is the Illuminati system. And let's define that. I know people have defined Illuminati in different ways. For this video, we're going to define it as follows. The satanic secret government that exists behind the visible governments of the world, which works directly for the devil, and controls the visible governments of the world. So it's like a secret government. Let's call that the Illuminati. Whether this is made up of people possessed by devils, some mixture of the two, or just plain satanic agents, unclean spirits and so forth. I'm not analyzing what that is, but there's going to be some of those aspects will be in play at the Illuminati level. So how do we know this Illuminati is satanic? Well, it's discussed in the Bible. Isaiah 4:26 says this network of kings, their task is to behold Satan. So look upon Satan. Now, I'm not looking upon Satan. And I'm guessing most of you aren't looking upon Satan. To be looking upon Satan means that you're looking in his direction. You're looking to him. You're worshiping him. Just like it says in Revelation 13:4 there, they worship the beast. Okay, that's the Illuminati wants to make the world like it, worshiping the beast, worshiping, we should refer to the second beast, the devil Antichrist. So, this is extremely important. This is in crystal clear. The first beast is the Illuminati system, which we all are living in now. We're like fish in the sea, and the sea is the Illuminati system, and we're the fish swimming in it. And we can see that in that Illuminati system, nations that were told on the mainstream Illuminati-controlled news, Fox News, CNN, and so forth, we're told these are, like Putin's the enemy of the United States. That's all just a smokescreen. They're all just different parts of the beast working together. And it has to be, the devil works by lies. So the information we get in the mainstream media, his system of information, has to be lies. So it has to be the case that we're told false information. He's not going to tell the truth. So it makes sense then that if we're told Russia is some kind of deep threat to the United States, that's because it's been created to be that way by the planning of the Illuminati system. Everything we see is basically a fabrication, a choreographed script, so to speak. So we'll talk about the leopard in just a moment, but you can see that the beast system is that leopard. So the third kingdom, referred to in Daniel 7:6, is a system that contains Russia and the United States. I think that system is now, as we're going to discuss here. But before we do that, look how it says here, his feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth is the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power. So the system is powered by Satan, dragon. Look at the last part of that verse 13:2 there. The dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. So that is full control the devil has of the Illuminati system. So now notice there's two referred to, the lion and the bear. So that's the England Illuminati, the lion there, which, of course, the United States has used, as we saw in Daniel 7 a minute ago. They're coupled together. But, of course, it's really the lion. But there's only two listed. Now, I think we have a good picture here of the two powers that are going to go head-to-head here into the end of the age. So that's the British Illuminati reference there being the lion, and Russia. So they're the two players creating this pageant of war and confusion and everything that's going on, you see going on in the world now. Okay, so now look at that. The bear is the feet. Feet move. What's Russia doing now? It's moving. Putin said, I think last week, Ukraine is just the beginning. And I read Mark Hitchcock's book, Russia Rising, pretty good book. I read some other materials, and it looks like Russia is the one that's going to threaten to invade Israel, which will bring on the kingdom of the Antichrist, the fourth kingdom. So we're really close, it seems. What does really close there mean? I don't know. But this is all in play, and things are moving. And then the mouth is the lion. What does that mean? It takes stuff in and digests it as nutrients. The United States and the Western world is always viewed as the consumers, the mouths, the greatest consumerist, areas of the world capitalist, corporatist system. I think the whole world, I think, is capitalist right now, roughly. You watch Schindler's List, and you see Oskar Schindler there, right? In the Nazi socialist system was a pure capitalist, corporatist. And as many of you know, in this time, last 100, 200 years leading up to really the start of the fourth kingdom, which we're in now. England has gone out and been conquerors to be consumers. Go watch the movie Gandhi. It shows us how a few people from Britain would go in and take over the whole system, and it was incredible consumption. So maybe that's what the mouth means. The mouth also is what turns something into part of itself. You know, like when you eat food and you take the food in to contribute to your body, so not it's really self, more body. So that's what that could refer to. So let's talk about the leopard. Now, in Jeremiah 13:23, we see a verse here, and the King James says, "Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil." So how interesting that the Ethiopian is coupled here with the leopard and its spots. They're referring to the sort of disguise of the leopard, its appearance. Now, what's interesting though is Ethiopian. Ethiopia is the realm of the Cushites, and the Antichrist line starts right from Cush in the Bible. Cush being the grandson of Noah, the son of Ham, where clearly the Antichrist system comes from these two. And the next one in the line of those, the grandson of Ham, is Nimrod, clearly the start of the incestuous Antichrist line. So we know from this passage that the leopard is apparently referring to the Antichrist system through history. Okay, let's go over to Daniel 7:6. This is the key verse for the leopard, which is the third kingdom listed here in Daniel. The first being England, USA in verse 4, in verse 5, Russia, in verse 6, the leopard. Okay, so after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. Now, it doesn't mean that the first kingdoms ended and these started. It's not like one starts, the other ends, the next starts and ends, and then the next starts and ends. It's not like, it doesn't say that. These are clearly overlapping because we know the England, USA kingdom for Daniel 7:4 overlaps, like right now, with the bear, Russia. And back over at Revelation 13:2, the bear and the lion and the leopard are all one body, one system. So that's almost as if they completely and always overlap. Acts 4:26 and Ezekiel 20:17 also imply that. They've always just been there. This has always been building, and this great revealing that's about to happen with the second beast of Revelation, the Antichrist, is going to be what the satanic powers have been preparing for all along. That's why in 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3 and then into 4, it describes this as a major event, this unveiling, this revealing of the Antichrist, the second beast of Revelation. But the reason I bring this up is because I've always heard all these shoddy accounts of prophecy. You know, these are kingdoms, and Babylonian stuff. Yeah, some of that's true. It's both is the case. It doesn't just refer to one set of kingdoms. God likes to repeat things like splitting rivers and splitting waters for people to go through and appearing as fire, speaking out of the fire, burning bush, plus Deuteronomy 4:36 and so forth. But those were always described as like one happens and completes, and the next step happens and completes. Like these are happening consecutively like that, but clearly they're not. If you look at Daniel 7, Revelation 13, especially verse 2, Revelation 13, these are one system, and it's all the pre-Antichrist revealing system of the Antichrist. It's all the Antichrist system since the world began, as we saw in Ezekiel 28:17. So after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Look at that, dominion was given to it. So what's the devil been given? Control of culture. He's the master of the air. So it appears the leopard is referring to the Antichrist system that's been in place since way back. We see that in Ezekiel 28:17, where there's a satanic network of kings that are worshiping Satan. So this must be what the leopard is. It's the Antichrist system coming into existence, where the fourth kingdom is when the Antichrist system is revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 and 4. So let's continue to verse 13, verse 3. And I saw one of the heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. The beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. We know in Revelation 17 it tells us that the 10 horns are 10 kings without kingdoms that all have one mind. Okay, and we're just going to conclude that that sounds just way too much like the new kings of the world now, which are economic kings. It sounds way too much like that to dismiss. Okay, so someone like Jeff Bezos has all kinds of incredible control over people because he controls their resources and products, but he doesn't have a kingdom. We can all sense how much power like Amazon.com has, or Apple, some of the supply chain components. These are worldwide companies that control basic resources and therefore behavior and thought. Anything from media down to what you're eating today, what clothes you put on. So these are kings without kingdoms. It's not about land, it's about much, much more than that. It's not about land, it's about absolute monopolization worldwide and quickly. Just like in the past where medieval kings would control what people knew, what people bought and sold, how people lived and so forth, the same is going on now with kings that don't have kingdoms worldwide, all while people are being told that this is the best possible situation they can be in. Everything's amazing and great in this satanic system that we live in. And it's just sort of an amazing situation that has evolved where we have these world-sized empires that make use of land and kingdoms and so forth, but they're beyond all that. You know, maybe this is the spots on the leopard. And the Bible refers to the spots on the leopard as like a camouflage for an evil inner self, which sounds just exactly like what these 10 horns are. Working right for the devil, completely empowered by the beast. So we're told they're so wonderful, of course, in the satanic Illuminati mass media and fake news. But in reality, these are agents of the dragon, of the beast. Maybe directly working for him. And I know people are conditioned out there to think, oh, we're talking so conspiratorially, because we've been so conditioned to think that conspiracy theory, there's this thing called conspiracy theory, and it's all these ideas, and if you hold them, you're crazy. If you don't believe what's on the mainstream fake news, then you're crazy. But the Bible is pointing exactly, clearly, right to these points. And we're not even done yet. I mean, this is pretty clear prophecy. This isn't some maze that you have to figure out and decode and so forth. This is just plain as day. Eagle, lion, bear. The 10 kings are kings without kingdoms. I mean, what could be more obvious about the world now? So this is really big deal. We know right where we are in the end times calendar. And I would label that as at the early stages of the 4th kingdom. But for the sake of this video, we're going to conclude that the 10 horns are great economic powers in this sort of borderless internet age, where the world is moving to being borderless, okay, one world system. So you can see here, whatever one of the 7 heads of the beast is, as one is wounded and healed, it sounds like something to do with the Antichrist system is going to have like a resurrection, and people will be filled with great wonder over this. And it says the people in verse 4, they worship the dragon, worship the devil, which gave power unto the beast, which gave power to the Illuminati system. It's the power of the Illuminati system. And they, the people of the waters, worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Sort of absolute dominant power. So let's go to verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power is given unto him to continue 42 months. And verse 7, it was given unto him to make war with the saints and overcome them. And power is given over him all kindreds and tongues and nations. So he's got absolute power, and he goes to war with the Christians, the real Christians. I don't want to make too many assumptions, and I could be wrong about this, but can you kind of see this going on in the world? Everything is pent up against Christianity. And it's like it's being created this way. We have, Donald Trump is the Christian spokesperson. Then the Christians that are in the spotlight and for the TV cameras are the condemning Christians, the fake Christians, the ones who don't accept all others, as it says to do in Romans 15:7. They're the condemning Christians. So clearly that's going to develop a massive backlash against the sort of fake, corporate, Republicanized, TV screen loving Christians that are on the news media. So you have this kind of going, I can go on and on with this topic, but you have this kind of going on all over where fake Christians are being sold as being real Christians, and they're just basically viewed as being horrible, condemning, judging, cruel people that want all the resources and money from themselves and want everybody else that's different from them to go away. So obviously the mass of the world's going to hate them. So I mean, I'm skimming over a big topic, but it just seems this is being fabricated right now. So anyways, I think you get the point about that. So it's as if this is being set up here in verse 13, verse 7. And that's all this strange anti-Christianism that's being fabricated and responded to here in the United States is probably maybe coupled with Russian history of persecuting Christians. It's so mind-boggling, unfathomable to think how that's really not taught in schools. Nobody knows. It's like, if you don't know, what Hitler did with the Jews in Germany, Stalin and Russians did with Christians in Russia after World War II at a way larger extent. And there's this whole history. Apparently a lot of it's still going on kind of recently too. Maybe even now, just hidden. And Russia's the main player in the end times. It would seem, from my analysis and understanding of Scripture. And they have this persecuting Christians history. You can see right where we're going. If you want more information on this topic, read Tortured for Christ by Wormbrand. That's a very comprehensive study of this persecution. Okay, so let's go to Revelation 17 now, starting at verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. The inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So obviously the wine is some kind of devil's mocking wine. The devil takes God's stuff and makes a mock of it. Like there's God's mark, and the mark of the beast is, of course, the mocking of the mark that we believers have on our foreheads. Now the whore is the Catholic Church. We're going to see that crystal clear in a minute. So apparently the Illuminati kings and the Catholic Church are all sort of sex partners in some fashion, which would not be surprising, of course. That's what we'd expect. The devil wants the porn. He wants everybody orgiastic. He wants everybody full of wealth. He wants everybody completely distracted with addictions. All the opposite of God's ways. God is celibate and poor and his mind free. We're supposed to be the opposite. We're supposed to be orgiastic, wealthy, in the world's terms, wealthy with junk from the world, with our minds distracted in addiction. So, anyway, let's continue here. 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, the scarlet, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So this beast in 13:2 is something related to the Catholic Church, which is Church of Satan. The Church of sexual molestation of children, the Church of murdering children, the Church of the Inquisition, the church that prays to Mary and wants you to ask people for forgiveness, not God. I mean, need we go on? Obviously, it's clearly the church referred to in the Bible as being the one of the false witnesses, the ones who say that they're God, they're not really God. You can go on and on and on about this. If you don't agree, fine, but it's crystal clear, and that's the conclusion we're taking. So look at verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a gold cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness for fornication. So right there, Catholic Church, purple and scarlet. I mean, what are the chances those two colors mixed with all the stones? I mean, if there's anything notable about the Catholic Church, they're always full of all their crazy outfits. Let's continue here. 5. And upon her forehead was the name Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And I saw her and I wondered with great admiration. So, yeah, the blood of saints, that's what the Catholic Church did all through the Inquisition. They'd kill all the people who had Bibles, children, so forth. I mean, they are the martyring force through history. So amazing. And that's a couple billion people call that the Church of God. Talk about deception that's right out in the open, hidden in plain sight, lying in plain view. So anyway, 7. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I don't understand that part of why John's marveling. Maybe he was tempted himself as he saw this vision that was given to him. Maybe his soul was not right with the Lord, where he was mistaking satanic activity with something to be admired. So I'm not sure. So I will, continuing in blue there, 7, I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her, and which hath 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so the beast system is what the Vatican rides upon, all powered by Satan. So 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, that they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Twice in that verse we're given this apparent contradiction that the beast. Now, which beast are we referring to here? It's almost not clear. It's almost like God, in writing Revelation here, wanted it unclear. It's almost like it's referring to both this joint system of the devil and his Illuminati world. But twice it's referred to as being is and is not. Look at that at the very end. The beast that was and is not and yet is. And then at the very start, was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Shall ascend, that's future. Okay? Remember we saw in Revelation 13, the 13:11, and I beheld another beast, so it's referring to Satan, coming up out of the earth. Had 2 horns like a lamb and spake like a dragon. So there's the beast coming up out of the earth. So in 17, so that ascending there in verse 7, it's coming from the same direction as what we read in Revelation 13 there, coming from down below in the earth, in the pit. So maybe this is referring more to beast 2, Satan, but seemingly the system. Okay, let's go to verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. So there's something going on here. It's very, you have to see it. You have to look past all the junk and see something here. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, which the woman sitteth. There's a lot of people talking about Rome connected with the kingdom of the Antichrist. There's different cities, I believe, around the world that have 7 mountains, 7 hills. Rome is one, where the Vatican is, Catholic Church. Okay? And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and one is yet to come. So that would appear to be the Antichrist. And so this is the Antichrist system, the 3rd kingdom of the leopard. And then the one yet to come is the Antichrist. And for the 4th kingdom, that's my guess, is what that means there. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. See right there, he's going to be there. I believe that would mean his time is short. The devil always knows his time is short. That's Revelation 12:12. That's why he's desperate to work so hard. The Revelation 12:12. So, and the beast that was and is not, there it is again. We'll analyze that in just a second. The beast that was and is not. What in the world does that mean? It's the third time we see that here. So for do twice in 8, and then now here again in 11. That was and is not, even he is the 8th, and of the 7 he goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Okay, we already referred to that a little bit. So the 1 hour, again, some kind of short time. I don't know if it's literally 1 hour, but maybe it is. 13, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So it's all just the mind of Satan working through these kings, 10 kings without kingdoms. So it's kind of like what we already said earlier. If those 10 kings without kingdoms are economic powers in this sort of borderless economic world, the internet age, then they're all really just the devil's mind, all working together as one mind, controlled by Satan. That's what it sounds like. So that's the Antichrist. So that's kind of where we are now in the world. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords, King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes of nations. We already reviewed that verse. And the 10 horns which thou sawest among the beasts, these shall hate the whore, and make her desolate and naked, shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So apparently that's what will happen to the Catholic Church. Now some people may think, oh, why would they do that? I thought they were friends and they work together. Well, yeah, but in the devil's kingdom, the devil's networks, everybody hates each other with true murderous hate. Okay, it's purely living for self to exercise all evil, unleash it in any way possible, as deep as possible, is where the Antichrist system eventually is characterized by. So of course they're going to hate each other and murder each other and stuff. We see that going on in the world today. It's kind of like Columbine, the shooting incident. Remember the one kid shot the other? So they're great partners. They developed this secret plan, satanic plan. But there's no love. They have no allegiance to each other. There's no companionship. There's no friendship. There's no love. It's just nothing but, what is Satan? He's the destroyer. Is that John 10:10? He wants to do nothing but destroy you. Yeah, he's the destroyer. So that's what we see among the Illuminati agents, which can include just ordinary people all the way up to the ones that are part of the Illuminati system as controllers. So, continue. 17, for God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. We'll look at that verse. So the Antichrist system, like we've been saying, with the leopard, has been in place. The kingdom is given unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So that's up to the end. Wow. So this is in place here. The 4 kingdoms, I mean, they come in an order. And we see that, and then this one, and then this one. We see them being referred to as an order. But I think they overlap, as we've discussed. We're in them all now. Clearly, with Daniel, the video I did on Daniel 2:43, which is not on YouTube, it's on praiseandlove.net, proves beyond the shadow of a doubt that we're definitely in the 4th kingdom. Just people won't see it. Kingdom of the Antichrist. He'll be revealed any day.